So the first thing we see after the console pops up is this so-called configuration wizard. And we can see a breakdown now of what's about to happen. The top 3 bullet points in this list represent our primary potential points of failure, right, in order of priority. So the first thing we're going to try to do is discover the SharePoint farm. And there are a couple of things that could prevent us from being able to do that, and I'll talk about those when we get there. Second thing we're going to do is deploy the backup services to the farm servers. Obviously, there's a couple of things in the world that could prevent a person from being able to do remote deployments of services. Those could be blockers. Then we're going to deploy this self-service recovery solution to the farm. This is an optional step. I'm going to take it, but obviously there could be issues with remote deployment of solutions as well. So those are our main potential pitfalls. The rest of this should go off without a hitch, and you can see these are just basic configuration concepts, right? So I'm going to go next to the first step. So, discover the SharePoint farm. What does that mean? So let me pop in these fields real quick, and then I'll talk about what is going to happen behind the scenes here. So it's asking me for the URL to central admin. So I'm going to hand it that. And I'm going to give it a user account that satisfies the text below, if you can see it, and we'll run through it. So this account needs to be a member of the farm admin group. It needs to be DBO on the farm configuration database and the SharePoint central admin content database. This is key. Typically, a farm admin should usually cover that, but it's certainly possible to granularize that, right? So those two are the big parts. Then 3, must be a member of the local admin group on every server that is part of the SharePoint 2010 or 2013 farm. So the why of all this is as such. So what's going to happen here in this discovery process, and keep in mind this is a one-time process that happens just right now. We're going to connect to central admin. We're going to learn the server on which central admin lives based on this URL. That's where we need farm admin account access for. We're going to connect to that server, and we're going to read the registry and learn where does the configuration database live. In the registry, there's a config database string that represents the SQL connection and database name for the config database. We're going to use WMI to get that from the registry, hence the local administrator concept. We need local admin to get to that server, read the registry remotely, learn the connection string. Then we're going to take that and we're going to connect to that SQL server and read the objects table from the configuration database and a couple tables from the central admin content database, hence the DBO rights we need to those databases. This is to learn the servers that represent the farm. Once we have that, we're going to populate our list in our repository and move on. So hopefully that illustrates why we need these different levels of access. So again, we connect to the central admin using the farm admin group, learn the server he's on, connect to that server, read the registry, learn the SQL server where the config database is, then we connect to that config database and read the tables to learn the topology. Once all that's done, we should get prompted that we are going to give our account full control on all the web applications in the farm. This is to allow us the capability down the line of doing the granular restore concepts that we're going to be doing. Essentially, we're going to need to be able to get really deep into all the SharePoint data in order to restore these bits to the farm. So we go ahead and apply that access now via policy. So if this all worked, we should now see a list of servers. Great. This says WFP servers, but really it means non-DB servers. So it's going to list all the servers in the farm that are not a database server. I've only got one, so I'm good to go. Click Next. And then we'll spin for a moment while we actually remotely install the backup service to that list of servers. For me, this will go quick. For you guys, depending on the number of servers, could be 5 to 15 minutes. So now that we've got our WFE, quote-unquote, servers covered, it's going to list out our SQL database servers. I've only got one. We're going to go through the same process. Now, database servers are, in my experience, historically usually the most locked down servers of all in any enterprise. So this is where you really could probably tend to see some issues if remote deployments of services are disabled on the SQL server. It's very likely. In those situations, the resolution workaround is just to manually install that backup service on the independent remote server in question. That's something we'll cover in a quick take session down the line. So next, we're going to deploy the MetaLogic SharePoint Backup self-service recovery solution. Just a reminder on what this solution is. This is the SharePoint side solution that gives us a site actions option to view the contents of mounted database for granular restore in SharePoint, essentially empowering site collection administrators to be able to restore their own data if they need to. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy this to all site collections. Click Next. Moving along here, as you can see, I had an issue remotely deploying a farm solution. So it's not the end of the world, and you may actually see the same thing. I'm just going to skip it. What it means is, deploying solutions is a thing in SharePoint, right? So it's not, it's not difficult, but there's a bunch of things that could prevent this kind of remote deployment. At the end of the day, if need be, the solution in question is included in the installation package. We can always deploy it by normal means via SCSADM or PowerShell or however you deploy solutions. So it's really not the end of the world, but I kind of anticipated this kind of thing might happen in my environment. We'll click Next. Next, I'm going to create a license. In the next section, so I'm going to grab my license. You will have been provided one by that time. I'm just going to pop it in. Activate online. That's it. If you don't have internet access on the machine you're installing to, you can always activate offline. It's just a quick process to go to our website and grab an activation key, essentially, or an activation string that you'll add manually. For me, now I've got my license key. It's a production key, good for 10 servers, never expires, and the status is okay. So I'm in good shape.